All right. Tigers lost yesterday, and KG asked a question of me. And he said, were you happy that they lost? I'm never happy that they lose. Yeah. All right? You sound like the people on social media yesterday.
Well, yeah, I mean it in a sarcastic way, of course.
No, I know.
Does it I mean, you seem to be mad when
it was easier to watch. I will give you that. So Maeda goes out after 2 pitches.
That was crazy.
Did they end up putting Flaherty on the DL?
Don't know yet.
I don't believe
so.
Yeah,
okay.
I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything either on that. Real quick, let's just take care of Javi watch, shall we?
Yeah.
Javi yesterday, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Cool.
He's back.
He is back, I was told.
Spinny voice.
Javi is now 1 for his last, let me see. He is 1 for his last 21.
Jeez.
And that's okay. And we'll keep trotting him out there. We'll keep trotting him out there.
You know,
see, and I feel it. I feel it happening.
Yep,
I do
now.
Too.
I do too.
Right now, I feel it happening. And like people took the clip on social media yesterday and blew it like way out of context because it was just like a clip in time. Mm-hmm. And again, my problem with it, he's 1 for 21.
Yeah,
he is hitting 184. And I feel as though every time I do this Javi watch, which we do pretty much every day, I'm always telling you that he's 1 for 21 because he's hitting 184.
Yep.
So where it sits for me is, and no one cares.
That's little Chris.
No. Thank you for bringing me back down. Okay, I'll move on from that because we've done that. It's played out. But Flannel, Kenta Maeda's out. I know they're 500. I know they are, but I can't get past this, Flannel, this feeling that I have.
You know, I'm not going to move on from Javi just yet because you're absolutely right. The fact that we as Tigers fans have kind of become apathetic to it, I don't think that's acceptable even from us. Let me give you a couple of stats. And when I give you these stats, please do not be near sharp objects. Reese Olson, and I'll get to Javi, trust me. Reese Olson, we all would agree is one of the highlights of this team. When Reese Olson goes out to pitch, you think most of the time you have the better starting pitcher than the opponent. He has a 2.48 ERA, phenomenal season. The Tigers are 2-9 when Reese Olson starts. 2-9. In 3 of those games, they've been shut out, and another one, they scored 1 run. I'm not done. Jack Flaherty, another one, is looking just like he did in 2019.
When he got Cy Young votes.
Absolutely. He has been everything that the Tigers could have asked for and more. The Tigers are 6-6 in Jack Flaherty starts. So in combined Reese Olson and Jack Flaherty starts, the Tigers are 8-15. Why that relates to Javi? Here's why this relates to Javi. Because every single fucking day, Javi Baez is in the lineup going 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 4. Oh, maybe he goes 1 for 4 one time. No walks. His on-base percentage is .212. His OPS is .463. This is the worst player in MLB baseball by a mile. By a mile. And he has been, at least last year, going into this year. And then his first year with the Tigers wasn't really any good either. How can you look Reese Olson and Jack Flaherty in the eye and tell him that we're going to keep trotting Javi Baez out there? He is harmful. He's costing you games. At least with Spencer Torkelson, who was awful in his own right, he got sent down. At least with Parker Meadows, he got sent down. Colt Keith, he's heating up a little bit. Jake Rogers is heating up a little bit. But with Javi Baez, it's every single day he goes out there. They're not serious. This is not a serious organization. This shit wouldn't fly in St. Louis and Boston and New York. It just wouldn't. In Atlanta, hell, even the Chicago Cubs fans were ready to run his ass out of town. And in 2018, he was second in MVP voting. In 2016, he was part of a World Series core. But Tigers fans are just kind of, they choose to, when they're watching Javi Baez, to watch him get a hit and then sarcastically be like,
and then they think, yeah, hey, tweet, Javi's back.
He's back. Yeah. And it's like, shame on us. When people say that the Tigers are or Detroit's a bad baseball town, that's the example. Every single time he goes at bat at Comerica Park, all of us should be saying, boo, you suck, get off the field. Seth, get off the field. Super bad reference right there. But get off the field. But no, it's just apathy. And for all of the outrage, you said it yesterday, towards Spencer Torkelson or Parker Meadows or Colt Keith or Jake Rogers, Javi Baez should be the most hated man in Detroit sports by a country mile. Now that, well, maybe Arn Tellem, but still, you know what I mean. He should be, in terms of players, the most hated player in Detroit sports by a country mile, but he's not. He's become fodder for joking, for like, El Mago's back, he was 1 for 5. Who cares? Oh, he's pretty good with runners in scoring possession. When your OPS starts with a 4, you suck. So yeah, I'm not going to let the Javi stuff go. It's really made me upset when I look at the totality of the season.
And you know what? Sorry to cut you off here. Ryan, he saves runs with his defense. He does not. He does not. He's below average. Stop with that. What is it with this guy? What, for real? No, you know what? We're done with the bullshit right now. What is it with this guy?
I don't know.
Why is it Spencer Torkelson's a bust, coming off a 30-plus home run season? He's a bust. He's never coming back. He's awful. Cut him. Get him out of here. Hey, Neil, Javi's back. He got a hit today. He's 1 for his last 21. And he's 1 for his last 21 every 21 at-bats.
Yes.
What is it? And I get this from Ryan. He saves runs with his defense. Stop with that. And I didn't want it to turn into this.
Yeah.
Because it's been this all year long. But Sam Flannel, you're 1,000% correct. You're not serious. And yesterday, the pushback I got when I said the Tigers won that series scoring 6 runs. Scoring 6 runs, they won that series. And people think that's the norm, like that's sustainable. Like the problem's with me because I find fault with that. I'm tired of that shit, man.
You know what's funny? Because in this series against the Rangers, it's kind of an interesting little microcosm. Because you watch Tarek Skubal pitch, you watch Jack Flaherty pitch. You're tantalized by it. We think to ourselves, man, if the Tigers could just get into the wild card in a 3-game series, I like our chances because of our starting pitching. However, your offensive heroes in the 2 wins were Jake Rogers in 1 game and Zach McKinstry in the other. Jake Rogers is still bad. Zach McKinstry is the most irrelevant player in all of the MLB.
And oh, by the way, Jake Rogers was your return from tearing down what the Tigers were in the mid-2010s, by the way. That's what you got for Upton and Verlander and everybody you traded. You got Jake Rogers, by the way.
Yes, and for the record, I'm not saying that Javi is the only problem, but Javi is the worst everyday player in Major League Baseball, and he has the 6th most at-bats on this team. He's out there every single day. I don't know how you can look Reese Olson in the eye. Reese Olson, who continues to have his dominant starts wasted. Jack Flaherty, who's had many dominant starts wasted.
Those numbers you brought to the table were, like, I knew it, but I didn't know the extent of it. But, I mean, Flannel. Bro.
Honestly, man, I said Jack Flaherty and Reese Olson, the Tigers are 8-15 in their 2 starts combined, and those 2 players' starts combined. They should at least be 15-8.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Flannel, like, that's it. And I got pushback yesterday. This is not sustainable.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable to be 500 like this. It's not. It makes you wonder how it's going down. And you guys, be positive, Neil. You want some. And then when I do give you the positivity, I get the pushback of, well, anybody could have done that. You know, it really gets me to think, like, how are they doing this? How with this offense can you possibly be 500 where the pitcher doesn't matter? Flannel, by those metrics, the pitcher does not matter.
Yeah.
So what is it? How are they staying afloat? How?
Sometimes they have these random offensive explosions. I'll give you this.
No, what's the one constant, though, through all this? Who's the one constant?
I know what you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say. Because it's right.
Go ahead.
And people might not like it, but I don't care. Because I'm giving you the reasons why I've come to that conclusion. What's yours? It's A.J. Hinch. It's A.J. Flannel, please give it to me. Please.
No,
Please.
Here's the thing. Let me just say this about Hinch. He has been better more often than not. There have just been a couple of instances, like in that series against the Marlins, the one where it was 0-0 going into the 10th inning and they ended up losing, where Kerry Carpenter wasn't in the lineup. There were other instances like in that road trip.
So he's got to drill 100% of every decision he makes.
No, but I think he could have done a better job. And I'm not saying it's all his fault.
Oh, in that one game.
No,
Okay.
I'm talking about of putting the best players out there every single day. You look at the last game again at Cleveland. You didn't have Matt Vierling or Mark Canha in the lineup, and they didn't pinch hit. I think he needs to do a better job of putting the best players on the lineup every day. I agree that it's probably coming from above with Javi Baez because AJ Hinch is too smart of a baseball man to let that happen. There's just a couple of instances where I'm like, ooh, why is Parker Meadows out there, but Wimseel Perez is not? Or like, oh, why is Kerry Carpenter pinch hitting for Matt Vierling and Javi and Torque are still taking all of their at-bats? I'm not saying he has to be perfect. I'm not saying he's been bad. I just don't think he's infallible. That's my only thing.
He's as close to infallible as there is on this roster outside of Tarek Skubal and Reese Olson and Flaherty.
There's nobody that you'd rather have. I'll admit that right now.
Okay, and that's my point.
Fair enough.
But he's the one that catches slander. It's wild to me.
He shouldn't catch near the top. He should be near the bottom of the totem pole of the problems on this team because he is. I'll admit that.
Is this a 500 team? Is this a 500 roster?
I'll tell you what. With Kerry Carpenter out for an extended period of time, that's going to be rough. He was your best hitter. He had over a 900 OPS. Some of his big games coincided with some of the offensive explosions. Spencer Torkelson, you counted on him. He's in AAA. So for those reasons, I would probably say maybe right at 500, but nothing more. They're not a playoff team.
Real quick, I know we're late for the break. 40 Gumbo. El Mago needs to walk out to techno music. That will fix everything. Try it.
Why not?
Anything, literally.
Hey, you got a song that El Mago should start walking out to? We need to work on this. Get it to the Tigers people.
Not techno. He needs something that's gonna get him actually going. Something hard that's with a lot of bass. That's what I say.